Everybody breathe, relax.
This newly released video shows a flight attendant urging calm amid chaos on Southwest Flight 1380.
Everybody breathe, we are almost there.
Passengers terrified after the left engine exploded at 30,000 feet. Then, the unbelievable. Albuquerque bank executive Jennifer Reardon, a mother of two returning from a business trip, was partially sucked out of the plane. ABC News learning today she was wearing her seatbelt at the time.
These two wonderful men, they managed to get her back inside the plane, and we lay her down and we started CPR. I think I can probably tell you that there was significant trauma to the body, significant head trauma, facial trauma.
One of those men who tried to save her, sharing his story for the first time today.
I'm trained for emergency situations, and that's just exactly what it was.
Surrounded by his family members, firefighter Andrew Needham detailed the moments when he went from passenger to what many are calling a hero.
I'm no different than any other firefighter in this country.
Needham was traveling with his whole family when they heard a loud pop. He and fellow passenger Tim McGinty sprang into action, pulling Reardon back into the plane.
Somebody screamed and we realized what had happened when the window went out, and so I tried and I couldn't. I just couldn't.
McGinty blocking the window with his back as Needham performed CPR.
God put us all on that plane for a reason. Don't know why.
Sherry Sears was also on the plane, returning home to Texas after a 5-day business trip.
The plane dipped to the left deep, and it almost felt like as if we slammed on the brakes.
Investigators now saying a broken fan blade caused the engine to rip apart in midair, with 149 people on board.
The number one engine failure.
It was on Tuesday when Southwest Airlines Flight 1380, carrying 144 passengers and 5 crew, left New York's LaGuardia at 10:43 a.m., headed for Dallas. At 11:04, it reached a cruising altitude of 32,000 feet. But then, a few minutes later,
the engine exploded and a shard from the engine shattered the glass over the exit row.
Just a moment later, the plane plunged nearly 20,000 feet, beginning a harrowing 22-minute ordeal. As soon as that left engine was ripped apart, the jet banked severely to the left, more than 40 degrees. A normal steep bank is about 25 degrees. Radar shows the track as the plane is diverted to Philadelphia. Air traffic control knows an emergency is inbound, the pilot calmly relaying the almost unbelievable details.
We've got injured passengers.
Injured passengers, okay, and is your airplane physically on fire?
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing. They said there was a hole and someone went out.
I'm sorry, you said there was a hole and somebody went out?
As fellow passengers were trying to help Reardon, others like Marty Martinez worried it could be their final moments.
I remember the wind being incredibly loud. There being like a lot of shaking and a lot of rattling. All I could think about was getting communication to like my loved ones.
He logged on to Facebook Live in the hopes of reaching his friends and family.
Put yourself in this situation, because I didn't know whether to, text my mom first, my dad, my little brother, my sisters, the people that, mean a lot to me back home. And I remember being so paralyzed in that moment.
The pilots decide the safest option is to maintain their high speed, hitting the pavement safely at 190 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour faster than a normal landing.
They're having to balance this in their mind. How do I make sure that the airplane's safe, controllable, and we're going in for a safe landing, but I also need to get on the ground to get this person medical attention.
Once on the ground, passengers quickly evacuated. At least 7 suffered minor injuries. Officials say Reardon died of blunt force trauma during the incident. Today, officials continue their investigation, painstakingly checking the shredded engine and debris discovered on the ground in 3 separate locations. Last year, the FAA proposed inspection of all higher-use 737 engines, a directive that was introduced following a similar Southwest incident in 2016. Where the fuselage was damaged but not pierced. At the time, Southwest and several other airlines asked for more time to complete inspections.
These are old engines, 40,000 cycles, meaning they've taken off and landed 40,000 times. So they're old, they're getting fatigued, and apparently they're developing fatigue cracks, and you have to use inspection techniques such as ultrasound to see these cracks.
The agency now says they're going to take action within 2 weeks, concerned that other planes are at risk. The FAA says at least 220 jet engines will be inspected for signs of fatigue, but that number could be much higher. Southwest says in part, in November of 2017, Southwest initiated and implemented an enhancement to our maintenance program to proactively perform ultrasonic inspection of all fan blades during each scheduled fan blade lube.
Of those recommended inspections last year, it did implement its own inspection program, and since this week's fatality, it has accelerated those inspections.
The 737 is a great airplane. The CFM56 is a great engine. So the question is, why did Southwest, why did one airline have 2 incidents that ended up being so dangerous?
2 days after the incident aboard Flight 1380, praise continues to pour in for pilot Tammy Jo Schultz, one of the first women to fly Navy fighter jets, and co-pilot Darren Ellisor, an Air Force veteran. The two putting out a statement saying in part, "We all feel we were simply doing our jobs. Our hearts are heavy. We appreciate the outpouring of support."
I would say to the pilot, thank you. Thank you for being calm, collected, very confident and courageous.
These photos show Schultz just moments after the plane's dramatic landing, comforting shaken passengers.
That pilot was nerves of steel. She's an awesome lady, and we hope one day to meet her and to tell her thank you in person, that she gave us another day to walk on this earth.
In a passage for the 2012 book Military Fly Moms, the pilot remembered her ambition to fly, recalling an early meeting with another female aviator. "My heart jumped," Schultz says. "Girls did fly. I set to work trying to break into the club." Now Schultz has become the latest member of another exclusive club, joining hero pilot Captain Chesley "Sully" Sullenberger, who famously landed a plane on the Hudson River after a double engine failure.
I would compare her to Sully.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah.
She's an American hero.
For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Janis in New York.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.